Greetings, colleagues. I'm Carl Mummenthay, Superintendent of Schools, and I'm joined today by Jessica Moore, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Matt Leon, our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations. We're here to share some information on our upcoming capital project vote that's scheduled for February 13th. We're here because it's important for you to have as much information as you need to understand the scope, the costs, and the value of this proposition that we're presenting to our community for their endorsement. The 2024 referendum is the second in a series of three planned capital project votes based upon our district's long-range facilities plan. This work began in earnest following the vote in 2021 that included a scope of work that would transform our high school athletic facilities, begin investment in our middle school reconfiguration, and update critical infrastructure across our 8 campuses. The vote that we're proposing in 2024 would complete the work needed to transform our middle school campuses, and it would also include some modernization and renovations to our 5 elementary schools and some high priority infrastructure work at Niskayuna High School. Looking ahead to 2027, we have intentions of advancing a capital project referendum that would include an update and expansion of our high school campus, including expansion of our high school cafeteria and food services, renovation of our auditorium, and continued critical infrastructure upgrades across our district's campuses. We're very grateful for the leadership and support of our capital project community advisory team. They convened earlier this past summer and have looked very, very hard at the work that needs to be completed and with a very keen sensitivity to the cost of the project and the community's ability to pay. Through their work, they identified 3 major priorities for this capital improvement project. The first is to make the necessary investments so that Van Antwerp is ready to serve as the future home for all of Niskayuna students in grades 5 through 6. We also recognized a need to upgrade and to refresh our elementary schools with a keen focus on the community gathering places, such as our cafeteria, our library media centers, our gymnasiums, and our playgrounds. And finally, we recognized that we wanted to advance a capital project with as low a tax levy impact as possible, and our community advisory team set a target of 1% or less tax levy impact in order to advance this prioritized work at minimal cost to taxpayers. On February 13th, we're asking voters to approve a $47.173 million capital project that includes modernizations and improvements at Van Antwerp Middle School and across our 5 elementary schools. The work also includes some critical infrastructure work at Niskayuna High School. The estimated tax levy impact of this project is 0.85%, and we anticipate that New York State will be reimbursing up to 68% of the overall project costs.
On to support for our programs. The strengths of our 5, 6, 7, 8 configuration, which came out of the capital project community forums that existed prior to 21, will be teacher collaboration and professional development. Having all of our 5, 6 teachers in one building and all of our 7, 8 teachers in one building will allow them to work together to create an even stronger middle school program. We'll now have equity and consistency in the middle school experience for all. This will also allow community building. All of our Niskayuna students will come together in 5th grade instead of in 9th grade, which is what we have currently. It will also allow program and schedule flexibility and enhancements for all grades. Resources can be concentrated for 5 and 6th graders in one place and for 7th and 8th graders in the other. We'll also have some 5th grade academic benefits. We're hoping to be able to offer world languages, technology, and other career tech ed opportunities to our 5th graders, which then will open up some schedule flexibility for 8th graders. We're hoping to offer accelerated and high school level science, art, engineering, technology as just examples. Moving all of our fifth graders to Van Antwerp will also free up space in elementary schools for program enrollment growth. Moving on to some of the work at Van Antwerp, we're very excited for the cafeteria expansion with classroom addition above. For any folks who've been to Van Antwerp, you'll see that the current cafeteria is actually below grade, and this expansion will allow all of our students to be in one space together. A renovated library. Currently, Van Antwerp's library is actually a passageway to get from one end of the building to the other. We'll be able to correct some of the elevation issues. We have over 20 different elevations at Van Antwerp. And for anyone who's been in the building, there's lots of ups and downs as you go from one end of the building to the other. We'll have spaces for our music ensembles to get together. Right now, music ensembles practice outside of the school day. This will allow for us to further strengthen our music opportunities for kids. District offices will be vacating Van Antwerp and we'll be renovating those for classrooms. We're looking forward to outdoor play improvements for our fifth and sixth graders, as well as critical infrastructure systems and classroom updates to the oldest building that we have in our campuses.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to talk about the scope of work that we're planning for our elementary schools. And to start, I would just highlight that as our capital project community advisory team did its work through the summer and into the fall, we walked elementary spaces in our throughout the district. And one of the things that we noted, that committee members noted, was that our elementary campuses, many areas had really not been touched in multiple generations of students. So they observed that they really, we want bright, welcoming, comfortable, modern, versatile spaces for our students. And right now, we really don't have that in many areas, and that's what we're hoping to address through this project. So for all 5 schools, we're planning the scope items here that you see on the slide, and I'll talk through each of them. Again, considering where each building and each space may be, the intensity of the renovation may vary depending on the space, but we really want to do what's needed in each building. So we're talking about cafeteria renovations, including air conditioning, as well as new lighting systems, flooring, audio-visual technology. So we really make these kind of gathering spaces, not just for lunch, but throughout the day where people can access technology, have space to work, and gather together. Similar approach to our library media centers. We want to look at lighting, flooring, shelving, again, kind of maximizing the space so that students can not just look at books and check out materials, but also really use them as modern 21st century workspaces. Gymnasium renovations in our gymnasiums really serve as the central gathering space for school assemblies in our in our schools, as they are really the only space that can house the entire population. So looking at audio-visual technology, new mats on the walls, looking at those schools where the fixed equipment, such as basketball hoops, are really outdated, as well as paint and lighting. And then again, we'll be targeting the most outdated classrooms in each building for updates, new lighting, new flooring, new paint, storage, things of that nature. So through this project and through some general fund expenditures over the coming years, we want to get into a cycle where we're really updating our classrooms on a regular basis. And this project will really give us a good head start on that. And then we'll also be looking at our playground equipment. We know that across the district, we've got pieces of equipment that are really nearing the end of their useful life. So we'll be doing a good inventory of the equipment that we need to replace and site improvements that we need to consider to make our playgrounds all that they can be for our students. And again, anytime that we're touching our campuses and areas of the buildings, we're looking at what's the infrastructure in that area that we can update alongside the work to refresh and update the spaces for students. And at Niskuna High School, we're also looking at high priority infrastructure work, especially when you look at our auditorium, which we know is the premier performing arts space in the district. We see that exterior wall paneling system that you can see on the screen there, that is original to the building, starting to show its age, and more importantly, we're starting to see evidence of water penetration inside the building. And as we think about future investment in renovating the auditorium, knowing the central role that that plays in the district, we want to take a big first step here with that project and make sure that we have that new paneling system there so that it is weather tight and primed for future investment, which we know is so important for that space. Just to take a look at the investment overview, Van Antwerp, in this project, out of the 47.2 million, 25.25 would be allocated for Van Antwerp. This is in addition to 7 million to 8 million that we have allocated in the 2021 project for Van Antwerp. So altogether, that's the investment that we need for the scope that Jess outlined for this building to really get us ready for that future world-class home for our grades 5 through 6 students. And we have 20.4 million in this project set aside for the elementary updates and renovations that I discussed, and 1.5 million for high school infrastructure, which brings us up to the 47,173,350 that the community will consider on February 13th. Just to take a look at the overall financial plan and revenue sources for the project, as the superintendent mentioned, we can anticipate 68% state aid reimbursement on this project. And as the Capital Project Committee went through its work and was really sensitive to how we could accomplish some priority work in our community while maximizing state aid reimbursement, we really focused on the aid that was available for the work that we're considering, and nearly 70% of what we're planning to do will be funded by the state. We've also been fortunate to have a capital reserve set up in the district for the last several years, and we're able to allocate $8 million from the capital reserve to offset the impact on the tax levy of this project. And so that leaves us with a local share of about 15% of this project, which equates to a tax levy impact of 0.85%. And on the next slide, we will take a look at how that breaks down for estimated or the sample tax bill. So for a homeowner with a house with a market value of $300,000, that 0.85% tax levy increase equates to an annual increase of $42.75, which is $3.56 per month. Again, as we looked at the financial plan for the project and considered how to maximize state aid and best utilize our capital reserve, it was important for us to look at how we could accomplish as much work as possible in line with the committee's recommendations, and that resulted in this 0.85% tax levy impact that you see here.
Thank you, Matt. So taking a look at the projected timeline for this project, if voters approve the project as we hope they will in February, we have some additional design and engineering work that we need to complete. We anticipate that construction will begin at the Van Antwerp Middle School beginning in the spring, summer of 2025, that the elementary school renovations will begin in summer of 25 as well and extend over 2 construction seasons, that Iroquois Middle School will be fully ready for grades 7 and 8 occupancy beginning in September of 26, and that Van Antwerp will be ready to serve as the new home to all students in grades 5 through 6 beginning in September of 28. So this is definitely a long game, but we are very, very excited to be able to make these necessary improvements to realign our grade levels and to greatly expand program opportunity for all learners grades 5 through 8 at our newly outfitted middle school campuses. There are many opportunities for you to learn and see more about this project. We cordially invite you to attend a town hall meeting here at Van Antwerp Middle School on Tuesday, January 30th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. We're also running concurrent tours and presentations at each of our 5 elementary schools, and those are scheduled for Thursday, February 1st, also beginning at 6:30 p.m. At each of those campuses, there will be a presentation that presents an overview of the scope and cost for the project, and there will be tours of some of the key areas targeted for renovation and improvement at our 5 elementary schools and at VA. Voting for this capital referendum will take place on Tuesday, February 13th, and our polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. Voting takes place at the Niskayuna High School, and in the event of snow or other bad weather, the snow date has been established for Thursday, February 15th. People interested in absentee ballots or early mail ballots are encouraged to contact Cynthia Gagnon in the district office, and she can provide you with an application to secure your early ballot. We'd like to thank you for the time that you've spent learning more about this project. Since our district's inception back in 1953, this community has always supported high-quality academic programs and world-class facilities for our students. We are very, very grateful for the community support, and we look forward to their continued support as we invest in our facilities and our future. Thank you very much, and have a great day.